Hey y'all, so I've been working on a big video that'll hopefully be out this month, but while I was finishing up the script for that video, I'll make sure to see not one, but two animated movies that came out within a week apart. I mean, they were supposed to release on the same day, but you know, competition is a thing and all that. Anyways, the first movie I saw was Transformers 1. I honestly don't really have much to say about this one, and also since I'm not really big about Transformers, I remember seeing glimpses of the Michael Bay films, and I remember seeing Bumblebee, and the one that came out last year. Yeah, this series didn't really connect with me like a lot of other people did, but I was looking forward to this one because from what I know, we haven't had an animated Transformers movie since probably the 90s, which was this one. So seeing that this next one is going to be animated, I was all in for it. This movie looks so stunning to look at, with the landscape, the world, the action, and the fight scenes are all really cool to watch. The thing that was off-putting for me when I watched the first trailer was how the Transformers looked. I thought they looked a little weird at first, but I got used to it after a while. I even liked the cast that was chosen in the movie. They all did a great job for their delivery to the characters. From what I've noticed after watching the film that I think might turn off some people is that there is so much exposition in the movie. It's not bad, but it kind of felt like there was a bit too much that I think we can sort of infer from what they show us over and over again. But I don't think that's a huge problem. I just wanted to point that out since it did stood out to me after seeing it. And the origin story they told with Optimus Prime and Megatron was intriguing to watch. It's not much of a spoiler since that's what the whole point of this movie is, but seeing them as friends at the beginning and them being enemies at the end makes this story important for this franchise since I don't think there's ever been a story that was ever told like that. I could be wrong. Like I said, I'm not the biggest Transformers guy. This movie is not perfect, but I think the story is what saves this movie from being what it is. A great origin story from the two main rivals that were enemies for a long time. Not all of the humor lands, but I think some of it was kind of funny to me, including Bumblebee, which I think he's funnier, I guess. And I'm looking forward to what's next for this story that they're gonna tell. So I'm giving Transformers 1 an 8 out of 10. So the next animated movie I watched is DreamWorks' new movie, The Wild Robot. This movie is based on a book of the same name, and I've honestly never heard of this book up until when the first trailer released back in March. And let me say that first trailer had me very interested in what this movie is gonna be. Even though some people were turned off that the animals and the robot can talk, I think some people wanted this film to be one of those documentary narrative films, which I don't know if that's ever happened to an animated film, and I don't think it would work like that if I'm being honest. Anyways, I can happily say that this movie exceeded all my expectations. This is by far the best animated movie of this year, and one of the best DreamWorks movies to date. And that's a huge thanks to the director of this movie, Chris Sanders, who you might know for his work on How to Train Your Dragon and Lilo and Stitch. And that's what made me more interested in seeing this movie. From my experience with this movie, I was surprised at how I was very impressed the whole way through. This is a very heartwarming story about a robot that crash landed into the wild and finds itself to raise this bird, and it's just so much fun and heartfelt to watch. What I also didn't expect was that it was funnier than I thought. The humor was surprisingly dark, and it was kind of consistent on how much dark humor it had. The first 20 minutes of the movie was surprisingly really fast paced. While it didn't bother me, but in the back of my head while I was watching it I thought, okay, this movie needs to slow down a bit. But you know what, I can brush that thought out of my head because I was still having fun. The animation and the visuals are probably the first time that I thought it was actually stunning to look at. All of it was just breathtaking, and it just feels so alive with how its direction was taken. And I also like all of the characters too. I like Pedro Pascal's character as the fox. I think he had a lot of great moments, and I think it also had a well done character development too. Even the side characters had some time to shine. While they were not in it as much as I thought, they still had some great moments that I really liked. And the bond between Roz and Bright Bill is just the core aspect of this movie being really good. The entire time seeing them together almost brought a few tears to my eyes. I just love it. And also the soundtrack for the movie sounds surprisingly really good. Like, I would say it's almost on the same level for the soundtrack for How to Train Your Dragon. While the climax of the movie I really like, it felt a little repetitive with some other animated movies that I can't really think of right now. That's my only small complaint with this movie. There isn't much to criticize, it's just really great and it did exceed all my expectations. I tried my best to keep this review vague because I don't really want to spoil too much, but I'll definitely say that it's better than Kung Fu Panda 4, which if you guys don't know, that's my most disappointed movie of this year. That's what I thought after walking out of The Wild Robot. But yeah, like I said, this is the best animated movie of this year, and if you haven't seen it, go check it out, it's definitely worth your time. So yeah, I'm giving The Wild Robot a 9.5 out of 10.